Welcome to Fantasy Football for Everyone with Alex, Art, and Dave.
What's up, everybody? This is Alex.
This is Art. Dave.
And this is Fantasy Football for Everyone. We have a new series we're dropping today. We're calling it the Pint Sized Pod. So we're going to do a quick half-hour episode. It's a big challenge for us yappers over here. We'll see how we do. But today we're calling this episode the Dirty Dozen. So each of us are going to talk about 4 guys that we are seeing extreme value in ADP and that we are targeting for our upcoming drafts over the next couple months for the 2026 fantasy season. So let's kick it right off. Dave, who you got at number 4 to who's your number 4 flag plant you got going on?
Number 4 flag plant, man, is Christian Watson. And, right now you have Christian Watson going off the board at number 64 pick overall. Alex, you were able to grab him here recently in our mock draft, and that one was a little bit of a dagger in my heart because I was watching him fall towards me. But the reality is, with the investment, you follow the money. What they've put into Christian Watson tells you that they view him as a number 1 wide receiver. There's some good talk on Matthew Golden coming out of camp, but we haven't seen it yet. Christian Watson has the ability to take the top off. He's going to catch those underneath and intermediate routes, get a little bit of yards after the catch. And I think we can project him healthily at 120 targets this year. I clearly expect him to go over 1,000 yards receiving, push for double-digit touchdowns. I think 7-8 is a very safe play, but I think he pushes up towards 10 or 11 with where you're getting him right now at pick 64 and where his ADP is as a wide receiver. He's really being drafted as a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3, and he has very, very clear wide receiver 1 upside. So, Christian Watson's a guy that, as it stands today, you can grab late 5th round. That really should be almost an entire round earlier from where he is. And, health is always a piece of the equation with Christian Watson, but we can't assume injury going into the season. If Christian Watson stays healthy, he's a guy that could easily finish inside the top 12 with the efficiency of a quarterback like Jordan Love. So I'm starting mine off with Christian Watson.
Dave, if I can real quick, I know we have to keep things short, but I'll say this. It feels to me, this is good. It feels to me like Jordan Love goes as Christian Watson goes. And you know what that also means? The NFC North goes as Christian Watson goes. So if Christian Watson is healthy and Jordan Love finds him, the Packers may retake the North. Until then, the Bears and the Lions are in their way. But I think it honestly depends on Christian Watson's health.
Yeah, huge piece of the puzzle, man. I agree. And again, we'll keep it moving, but we saw them let wide receiver talent leave without really making a strong play to backfill it. So that means they trust what's in the building. That means there's a plan for these guys. And Christian Watson, big-time wide receiver 1 upside, currently going as a low-end wide receiver 2.
My fucking guys. Look at these guys glazing my Packers. I love it. Art, who you got as your number 4
my heart, man. I just want people to know I'm bringing real information. That's all.
Here's my number 4 rank.
Yeah.
What you got, guys, here's what everyone at home needs to know. My list is like the Sandlot list. It's the list of the guys who are ready to earn their way to the top. We got Benny the Jet Rodriguez is on this list, okay? And yeah is there too. So watch me do this, okay? My number 4, okay? This guy is unheralded. He's not huge, but he is fast. He runs a awesome route tree, and he's on a very unheralded team, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders, and that's Tre Tucker. Wide receiver Tre Tucker coming off the board at ADP 207, which means nobody is drafting this guy. And that's a problem for everyone else, but for you. If you're listening in well, Tre Tucker could provide one hell of a season. Yes, the counterpoint is, the cons are, he was inconsistent last year. Well, so was his quarterback play. A guy that is talented, is definitely fast as the wind, and has more consistent quarterback play, should have a better grasp on the playbook as well. A guy that scored 5 touchdowns last year, a guy that was over 600 yards receiving, he's a value pick. But if you're looking at a guy at ADP 207, and his ADP is not going to change a lot between here and when you draft, regardless of when that is. This is a deep, deep, deep value. He's the guy who could be wide receiver number 1 in Las Vegas, and I understand that. It sounds like he's the tallest kid on a short bus. I don't care. He could provide real results. Take a risk late in your draft. You want to draft talent late? Draft talent every pick, but definitely draft talent late. Trade from Las Vegas.
No, our Art's in the mud right now.
Love it,
He's
Art.
in the
Personally,
he's in
I
the
love
gutter. He's letting you know about a guy being drafted in the 17th round that, like Art said, could bring big value. We all know Tre Tucker was a huge waiver wire pickup, and with the way that the Raiders season obviously went with Chip Kelly, with Pete Carroll, with Geno Smith, he fell off. That's not the same situation. With Draft Nation, I just wrote an article about the Las Vegas Raiders that'll be dropping in a few days. And I was very high on the Las Vegas Raiders offense. They have found an identity there, and they are ready to, implement that with Clint Kubiak, with a good quarterback room, solid running back room, better offensive line, best tight end in the league. Like, they're ready to take off, and I don't think that they're just going to sit there and let everybody walk all over them anymore.
No, and we saw points last year where Tre Tucker was the focal point of that passing game. I think it led to at least one top 12 finish for him last year. With a new look offense, probably a little bit more accurate player at quarterback, regardless of who that is over Geno. Absolutely, man. 17th round, Tre Tucker is a guy that could, at the minimum, be in your flex spot on a week-to-week basis. So I love it, Art. I think that's a great deep dive, man.
Appreciate it, gents. Alex, what's
Beautiful.
your number 4?
My number 4, all right, I got a Yinza. We're back on Steelers podcast. I got Michael Pittman,
Woo!
ADP 113. This guy has been completely forgotten about being acquired by the Pittsburgh Steelers. People are afraid of Aaron Rodgers. People don't love the Mike McCarthy acquisition as head coach, but guess what? Mike McCarthy is going to have Aaron Rodgers out there slinging that rock, probably 10% more than last year, so that's looking at 550 pass attempts from Aaron Rodgers. And we're looking at a snap share percentage, 21% snap share. Michael Pittman's looking at 110 targets, with 110 targets last year with Daniel Jones throwing the ball. Come on, Aaron Rodgers compared to Daniel Jones and then the bums they had at the end of the season. Like, Aaron Rodgers is going to get Pittman the ball. So I'm looking at a floor of 110 targets, which would keep him right in line with wide receiver 18 that he finished last year. And you can draft him at wide receiver 45. DK Metcalf's going at wide receiver 33. Why are we selecting DK Metcalf when Michael Pittman's sitting right there and he's going to be the target monster? Mike, drop.
Truth. Speak it.
There it is. That's what we got.
Speak
We got, we got to follow it, guys. Mike McCarthy's going to want to throw the ball. They're not going to want to lose. He wants to win. So, all right, we're crushing it, guys. We're getting through it. Dave, who is your number 3 player off your board in our Dirty Dozen?
Obviously, guys, I appreciate where you're at in the rankings here, because I was looking for what I thought was the elite value in those first few picks. And so I went to A.J. Brown next. A.J. Brown at the 28th overall pick, currently going off the board as wide receiver 10. But I think more importantly than that are the receivers that he's currently going after. Right now, A.J. Brown is behind Malik Neighbors by almost 10 points in ADP. Malik Neighbors, we don't even know if he's playing the first 10 weeks of the season. If he does, we don't know what that looks like before he's ready to go full speed in football. He's going after George Pickens. Love George Pickens. George Pickens is playing to get some money, but George Pickens is also in a much more crowded offense than A.J. Brown is currently. Clearly showed the ability to be a number 1 last year, but we know every single game he's going to be fighting for targets with CeeDee Lamb. The offense is going to look different. They got Javonte Williams, who's going to get touches there. He's currently going after Chris Olave. You guys just know how I feel about Chris Olave personally. So that for me is like, I'm ignoring Chris Olave, but Jordan Tyson comes into that offense. The Saints is going to look different. And he's also going after Nico Collins. And that's one where I think you get a little bit of a comp. I think that comes down to personal preference, but I have in my personal rankings A.J. Brown at number 19 now, and he's going currently as wide receiver 28. We know what Drake May's deep ball accuracy looks like. They didn't give up a first-round pick to bring him in and give him any less than 120 targets on the year. A.J. Brown, we have watched be a dominant wide receiver 1 in the past, and now he's in a situation where he becomes the clear one. Not even the 1A to Devonta Smith's 1B. He is 1 now without a letter next to it. So A.J. Brown's target volume, talent profile, quarterback in Drake May. A.J. Brown for me is a slam dunk wide receiver 1 this year, currently being drafted as sort of a higher to mid-range wide receiver 2. So for me, A.J. Brown is the next guy I got queued up. For me personally, almost 10 spots higher in ADP than where he's currently being drafted.
Boom. No, AJ Brown I'm so wheels up on AJ Brown right now that I am sitting in business class with a cocktail and I am just enjoying my flight, like AJ Brown, we are all the way to the moon. He is being underdrafted. Like, I mean, I can't even, like, that's just it. He's being underdrafted. He's being undervalued. He's a consistent top 10 wide receiver 1 finishes most of his career. Yeah, Dave, I love the AJ Brown take. All right, who you got at number 3?
All right, so here's who I have at number 3, and this is a guy I was high on last year, and he didn't quite show me what I needed to see. However, I think the time is now. I think departures from his roster, and I think his quarterback is one of the hungriest guys in the league. We've seen it time after time. Frankly, this guy is pissed, and that's Baker Mayfield is pissed, and that's in favor of Jalen McMillan. Okay, Jalen McMillan at ADP spot pick number 180. Like, are you serious with that right now? There is no way I'm letting Jalen McMillan last until pick 180. I will find him earlier than that, and I will plug him in. You're talking about potentially a number 2 wide receiver in a Tampa Bay offense where Baker Mayfield is quite proficient, right? He's very accurate. He's hungry to show the Bucs what he needs to do. And you know what? I think he's hungry to tell the Bucs deuces at some point, because if they're not going to reward him for what he is capable of, they can go back to mediocrity, because they're not finding Tom Brady anytime soon. Jalen McMillan is very talented. As long as he's healthy, the pathway to Jalen McMillan seeing 95 targets is legit. And as the number 2 wide receiver behind Chris Godwin, there's another little caveat to this. God forbid Chris Godwin isn't back to full health again. Love Chris Godwin, fan of Chris Godwin, have been for years. But if Chris Godwin isn't healthy, guess who gets the rock? It's going to be McMillan and maybe a little bit of Cade Otton. But I think a lot more of McMillan because he's a lot more talented.
Yeah, no, that's a great take, Art. And we just don't know. We don't know what that Buccaneers offense looks like right now. We don't know what the target share is going to look like. We know Zach Robinson's there from Atlanta, and Drake London was, a monster last year. We know Darnell Mooney was terrible, but they tried to get him involved. So we have to see what that what the 3 wide receiver sets look like. But I don't see the Buccaneers running more 12, 13 personnel. I see them continuing to run their 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers out in the field, and McMillan definitely is going to be in the field as the top 3 with Godwin and Igbuka. All right, my number 3.
We saw it down the stretch his rookie year.
I love it. No, I'm switching a quarterback here, guys. I got Bo Nix at ADP 119. In a 1 or 2 quarterback league. I have another quarterback on my list, a little teaser, but this guy is my second favorite quarterback just because he's being drafted as quarterback 15 and his only 2 seasons in the NFL, he's been quarterback 7. Like, that is so incredibly consistent to start. Sean Payton is still there. And then you know what they did? They improved his passing room. Last year, he threw the ball over 600 times, but he started to Troy Franklin and Lil Jordan Humphreys and Pat Bryant and like not Evan Ingram, but him having Jalen Waddle this year, him having Cortland Sutton this year, we are going to see Bo Nix complete a lot more of those passes. Hopefully that ankle gets right because he can move a little bit, but I think Sean Payton is going to make sure that that the Denver offense is I'm going to say Bo Nix has more than 5,428 passing yards this year. Hit the elevation numbers there.
So I have to say this. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The mile high take. But I literally, as you say, Bo Nix, I literally was making a decision earlier about would I prefer Bo Nix over Baker Mayfield in the conversation to say Pat Bryant instead of Jalen McMillan. So we're almost thinking quite alike here. I don't know I'm going to see the same out of Pat Bryant, but I tell you what, Bo Nix has a strong case to post monster numbers this season. I agree.
Yep. I love it. Dave, who you got for number 2? We're down to the deuces of the dirty dozen.
Number 2 for me, man, is I'm going to stay at that QB position, and I'm looking at Jayden Daniels. And for me, man,
Jayden Daniels.
A lot of things come down to personal preference here, but for me, Jayden Daniels is QB3. I know it's a bold call, but once you get past Josh Allen and you get past Lamar Jackson, I don't see anybody with the upside of a Jayden Daniels. He's currently, averaging going after both Drake May and Joe Burrow, guys who I love, but May's got a little bit of scramble ability. Burrow at this point is going to be standing in the pocket and passing. He's got great weapons, but we all know what a rushing quarterback brings. In his rookie season, Jayden Daniels had 891 yards rushing, second only to Lamar Jackson. I think with the makeup of that offense, I think they're going to want to protect him a little more, but when it's in him, man, they're going to run. You know what I mean? And Jayden Daniels is going to have tremendous amount of opportunity to get outside, in addition to the rushing that he brings to the table. I'm be honest, I'm looking more at his rookie season than even last year with the injuries, some of the things going on with the Redskins. He completed 69% of his passes in his rookie season. That is borderline elite when you hit that 70% number, man. And I expect him to only be better in this offense this season. So, he's currently being drafted ADP number 57 overall. You have Drake May going as high as 41. So again, at me, when I'm looking at value, it's who are the players that are going to go in front of this guy? I can still grab this guy and feel better about the guys that got drafted ahead of him. I feel better about Daniels than either of those two guys. So if you can be, high 50s, maybe even early 60s come draft day with the devaluation of the quarterback position, and you're grabbing a guy that should outperform some guys going as high as number 41, that's where I'm looking, man. And I just, I'm an eye test guy too. And what that kid looked like his rookie year, the relationship with McLaurin should go. Antonio Williams is a guy I'm very high on coming in there in the slot. And, that running back room, there's still a whole lot of questions around that running back room. Jayden Daniels is going to be this offense. It's going to go as he goes. And I just have a tremendous amount of faith in him, man. But when you've got that kind of rushing upside, that sort of completion percentage, it is the recipe for QB1 overall potential, to be completely honest with you, much less barely being drafted inside the top 5 at the position right now. So Jayden Daniels is my number 2 overall in the Dirty Dozen.
No, I love that. And Jayden Daniels, I think that's the thing we forget about Jayden Daniels is that the insurmountable rushing upside, right? Like he had, like you just said, he almost had 1,000 yards. Like I completely forgot about that because his season was just so injury ridden last year. But no, I love the Jayden Daniels take. We forget how much value that rushing quarterback brings to fantasy. And Drake May's not rushing for almost 1,000 yards, but Jayden Daniels will. And with those receivers he has there, yeah, maybe they're not as good as they've been, but he could definitely make that work. We saw that his rookie year. My last point to Jayden Daniels is the Commanders' offense. They brought in David Blau. They hired in-house as offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury is out. David Blau is in, and I think that it obviously shows that the Commanders had that confidence in David Blau, and they wanted him to bring that offense together. I really wanted to see Kingsbury go to the New York Giants as their offensive coordinator before they hired Matt Nagy. I thought that had been a really fun offense with Cliff Kingsbury, but
I'd be more excited about it than I am Matt Nagy. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Harbaugh made the good old boys move. So, all right, Art, who you got for number 2?
Well, let me say this. Let me cheers, Dave, okay, for that last pick, because you just unlocked a bonus choice from Art. So I have 2 to reveal right now. This is not just 2. This is not just pick number 2. This is pick number 2 and 2A. Got me?
Love it. I love it.
I am dying.
I'm making a
bonus
case
choice. Only Art has a bonus choice. You said the magic word, and you get more options.
That's right. Added content. Here we go. You said Antonio Williams. Yes, Antonio Williams. Okay. There's an absolute secret that is about to be unlocked, and I understand a rookie wide receiver isn't always the most trustworthy of concepts in this world, right? When it comes down to it, Antonio Williams was, quote, the ability to produce on gadget plays and screens. Slot receiver with good speed, but not a true vertical threat, okay? An excellent route runner who scored 21 touchdowns in college, all right? We're seeing a guy who fits the system. And David Blau is like, I feel like I need to have like one of those Batman sounders, like, boom, pow, David Blau. Like, it really is. Antonio Williams being a part of their system should absolutely take Jayden Daniels to a spot where he relied on Deebo Samuel, and he doesn't have Deebo Samuel. He's got a younger, faster version of Deebo Samuel. I love that. I absolutely love that. So what I need to know is this, okay? If Jayden is healthy and upright, do the Washington Commanders win the NFC East?
Ooh.
And I think it's realistic. Now to my original number 2 pick. Okay, let's marinate on that one. My original number 2 pick is a guy who is being slept on more than I think, well, anybody in the draft. And this is a guy that I'm going to say this and I'm going to regret saying this because, well, a lot of my fellow league mates are going to probably try to poach this guy when we're drafting this fantasy season in various leagues because we do know our friends listen. Thank goodness for our friends listening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that has a wealth of ability, and unfortunately, he's hidden in Nashville. And that's Cam Ward. Okay, coming off the board at the 188. Are you real right now? He's coming off as a 24th quarterback. I understand that. I can conceive why that's the case. But all of the changes around him suggest why he could be a top 12 quarterback. If you draft a quarterback at quarterback 24 and he shows up as a quarterback 12, you haven't just maximized your value. You've transformed your team and you have obliterated your league mates. There aren't many options at quarterback that are going to take you from the cellar to a winner. Now, granted, it would be nice if he took you from quarterback 24 to quarterback 6, but we do know from what Dave's last point how competitive it is in that top 6 of quarterbacks and why Jayden Daniels could very well be the quarterback number 3 this year. I'm a believer in that too, Dave. Cam Ward has all of the abilities to do what is next level. My only fear for him is the Titans didn't add to their offensive line a whole lot. They did add through the draft at wide receiver. They have a young, hungry tight end in Gunnar Helm. I think there's a lot of potential for what is around Cam Ward. But back to Dave's point, don't sleep on the rushing side and the ability, okay? Cam Ward was just learning the playbook, learning how to be a professional, learning how to be a starting quarterback in the NFL last year. Well, guess what, folks? Times have changed. Cam Ward's grown up. The folks around him are a lot better. You guys heard of Carnell Tate? Carnell Tate can run every route known to man. He is going to be an unbelievable resource for Cam Ward. And I know Cam Ward will then have the ability to see the field differently in his second year. There are a lot of quarterbacks. I know I'm spouting off a lot of stuff here. Quarterbacks who made a huge jump in year 2 of their development.
Mm-hmm.
A guy named Jayden Daniels and Josh Allen. And those are two just high-level guys. Okay? And those are in the last, 8 years? There are more than that. There are plenty more than that. Jalen Hurts in the last 10 years made a massive jump in his second year.
Yeah.
You're Cam Ward. You have all of the pedigree, all of the ability, all the athletic know-how to get it done. Cam Ward is not deserving of being a pick at 188. Get that value, people.
Listen, Art, I love that take, man. You know, the only caveat for me is I wish they would have done a little more with the run game to take some pressure off him, but there's more weapons down there than you even realize. You know, we were doing some research on the OTAs a few weeks ago. Kyron Lacey, another rookie they brought in and drafted, is already running with the first team offense. So now suddenly you're 4 receivers deep. If they like this kid, you got him, you got Tate, you got Ridley, you got Wan'Dale Robinson, who knows this offense and is ready to ball out. I don't think there's going to be any shortage of options for Cam Ward. If he begins to process a little quicker and gains a real understanding of this offense, sky is the limit, man. We know the talent's there. Sky's the limit. Love the Cam Ward take. And he's cheap.
No,
he's pennies on the dollar right now, man. That's a late second QB that might be your starter.
No, Cam Ward. I think the
Dude,
offense, I think the problem with play calling last year. I think they obviously didn't have the talent. They didn't have a stud wide receiver for him. And now, like, the Titans completely reinvigorated their organization, right? They bring in Sella, head coach, so more defensive-minded. So hopefully getting those offenses off the field via the defense. And then bring in Brian Daboll that we know knows how to build a young quarterback and set up a system that's going to favor that young quarterback. And, I mean, Cam Ward doesn't need a lot of favoring. Like, Daboll's probably out there right now, like, chomping at the bit. Like, dude, I cannot wait. Like, this dude can do more than Jackson Dart could do last year. I mean, my favorite Cam Ward story was from Cam Ward's lone year in Miami, where he was a Heisman favorite and they got snubbed from the playoffs. But they were working down here during the offseason. He's getting the wide receivers going because he's a dog and that's what he does. He does the off-schedule practices. And he had one of his receivers like, oh, no, I can't make it today. Like, I'm going to go catch passes with Lamar out in Fort Lauderdale. And Cam Ward says to him, he's like, well, you better hope that Lamar's throwing you passes this fall, because if you're not coming out, I'm not. And like, that is the kind of dog mentality that's like, no, you get your ass out here. We're working, because I don't care what you want to do with Lamar Jackson. We have to win football games. Like, yeah, that's cool, but that's not, we're standing on business, and Cam Ward stands on business. All right. Where am I? Am I at my number
Absolutely.
2?
Yes.
We're going to keep the
Yes.
wide receiver trend going. I got
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you're
DJ
at number
Moore.
2, man.
DJ Moore. ADP 59, wide receiver 26. He's in Buffalo, guys.
Okay.
He's with Joe Brady. There's so much familiarity there. He was with DJ Moore was with Joe Brady in Carolina before he got traded to Chicago Bears. So Joe Brady obviously went out and said, I need this guy as my wide receiver 1, because right now he's being undervalued in Chicago. I mean, and we're looking at, so I sat here and I looked at the passing targets from Elijah Moore, Josh Palmer, and Keon Coleman. And all those guys tried to be the wide receiver 2 last year in Buffalo. Over the past couple of years, it hasn't worked. I still think Khalil Shakir gets his 95 targets, but that's 141 vacated targets that are being delivered right to DJ Moore. And then we still got Keon Coleman there, but he's going to lock into that Curtis Samuel role that Curtis Samuel had last year, and he still got 34 targets. So the targets will be there. The math makes sense, guys. DJ Moore at wide receiver 26 makes no sense, because we've seen him get 140 targets in 2023 with Justin Fields and finish as a wide receiver 6. He has an MVP quarterback throwing it to him. That team is hungry for a chance to play in a championship. They also had to reinvigorate their whole organization. Well, they're, I guess, just not really reinvigorated. Like, they just got rid of Sean McDermott, right? They kept Brandon Beane, they kept Joe Brady, but they are obviously in kind of a desperation mode and trying to find any way that they can win games and win that Super Bowl before Josh Allen's window closes. And DJ Moore is a big key to that plan.
100% in on that, man. I think DJ Moore is a guy that I looked at, and for one or two reasons, I moved myself off of him. But DJ Moore, I mean, I went into this exercise thinking DJ Moore's way off from where he should be. And yeah, I mean, there is completely a plan for him in the offense. I expect him to be the number 1 target there. I mean, I don't think Khalil Shakir goes away, but I do think DJ Moore sees more work, has more upside, and I love the DJ Moore call, man. Bear
Beautiful.
down.
All right.
We miss you, DJ Moore. We love you.
Who's your favorite player to draft right now? Dave, who's your number 1?
Well, no, you guys know I've been living at the top of this draft. And when I'm looking at the top of the draft and guys that I'm going to be building my team around, I don't see a bigger gap between where I'm ranking players and where the world is ranking players than Chase Brown, man. Chase Brown. So right now, Chase Brown is going off the board at pick 22, running back number 11. In my world, Chase Brown is running back number 6. I'm taking him in the first round as high as pick 10, 11, 12, to be totally honest with you. And I know that might sound crazy. But again, let me tell you some guys right now that are going ahead of Chase Brown. You have Ashton Genty. Love Ashton Genty, but we know the offensive environment is nowhere near the same as what Chase Brown's going to be playing in. You have Kenneth Walker. Love Kenneth Walker, not the most durable. There's a plan for him there, but I don't know that we can say Kenneth Walker is going to outtouch Chase Brown. Jeremiah Love, never seen him play a snap. I want a piece of the Bengals more than I want a piece of the Cardinals in the NFL. Amarian Hampton's a guy that you're looking at, but CeeDee Lamb's going ahead of him, who's going to be fighting on a weekly basis for targets with George Pickens. Justin Jefferson, I'm not sure he has a quarterback who can get him the ball. Chase Brown averaged 17.7 touches a game last year. He was the running back 6 weeks 6 through 18, and from week 8 through week 18, he never scored less than 15 points in a game. I mean, if you got a guy that you're penciling in for 15 and you're grabbing him at the end of the second round, like I say, man, he's ahead of all those other guys for me in the ranks. We know he's getting the touches. The Bengals have told us now 2 off seasons in a row. We believe in this guy as a 1. We saw that he's a clear 1, a high-end 1. You know, like I say, RB6 down the stretch last year. And part of that's Joe Flacco and part of that's Joe Burrow. So, you know, if we get this Joe Burrow-led offense the entire way, almost 10 touches, we're looking at 6 targets a game. This is a guy that clearly has top 5 running back upside with only the names like Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs. Christian McCaffrey, I would take over a Chase Brown, but do we feel confident that Christian McCaffrey finishes the season touching the ball 400 times? Like, Chase Brown is absolutely a guy that you can pencil in as your RB1 that right now you can grab late in the second round. and again, after guys, I love Trey McBride, but positional, value. Am I taking a tight end over a Chase Brown as my RB1? I can't do it personally. I can't do it. So, when you're grabbing a guy at pick 22 that should be sitting in the first round, you don't pass it up, man. You definitely don't pass it up if you're in that 15 to 18 range. Slam Chase Brown. Slam it.
Dave, I love it. And here's part of why I love it. Okay. Chase Brown is not going to be the sexiest name on the board. But I promise you, if you go to Cincinnati and you go have some Skyline chili, get all that fresh cheese sprinkled on top, freshly, boiled pasta, spaghetti. Dude, come on, man. Tell me you're not happy after that meal. It's consistent. It's already there. Chase Brown for the win, baby. I love it.
Chase Brown for the win, man. Don't forget the white onions. We can't be talking about the Skyline and not give a little love to the white onions, okay?
Yeah, Chase Brown is Skyline chili.
Together.
I love it.
Love it.
So that is the comp. Chase Brown is Skyline chili. So Dave, something that really interesting.
He's not quite a cold cut.
Not quite. No. He's a hot take. That's what it is. He's a hot take. He's a hot meal. So Dave, you said that Chase Brown was your sixth ranked running back. So I'm going to guess your top five. So is it Bijan, Jameer, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown? Did I nail it?
Absolutely.
There it is.
You put
Look
it
at
on
that.
the money, man. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
I know you love some James Cook too.
All
right.
So, and again, man,
all right, so here's my number one. And this guy for me is the lowest ADP out of all the picks that I made here. So this isn't a dirty pick by any means. This is a jump from where we're at. But this is a guy I've believed in for some time. He has shown fantasy managers the last 2 years that his production has fallen off a bit. But this is his fourth season. And he is in one of the most proficient offenses in the NFL for the last 4 seasons. Detroit tight end Sam Laporta. Okay. The difference between Sam Laporta, what you saw the last 2 years, and his rookie season is touchdown regression. I understand he's in a busy receiving room. Jahmyr Gibbs catches passes out of the backfield. Amon-Ra catches a ton of passes. Jameson Williams, we're all still waiting for Jameson Williams to become like Randy Moss. He's not even Randy Moss light, even though I do love Jameson Williams. But the guy who's been consistent through all of this, aside from Amon-Ra and Jahmyr, is Sam Laporta. If Sam Laporta can find the end zone 3 more times this year, he jumps up massively. And let me tell you a little secret behind the scenes that people aren't paying attention to. When you draft players, if you think about their strength of schedule.
Do we lose Art? Did his laptop die? All right.
I don't know, man. I was ready to know what to think about after strength of schedule. I was hanging on his words there. What else do I need to think about?
I mean, I think the thing with Art's completely absolutely correct about Laporta. I think he's trying to get back in here. But Laporta, the thing about him is he obviously missed a bunch of games towards the end of the year with a high ankle sprain. But the thing that I think a big key to Sam Laporta's success this year is the Lions bringing over, I believe their new offensive coordinator is Drew Petzing from the Cardinals, right? With Drew Petzing coming over from Arizona, I mean, let's look at the Tre McBride role and give that to Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta can't do that. Yeah, Sam Laporta might not be as fast as a Tre McBride, but he definitely has the hands. He definitely has the route running ability, and they could definitely utilize him in that same role. Of Sam Laporta, I mean, I said it in our tight end pod. Oh, he's here. He caught 40 at 49 balls. There you go. Finish your Laporta take. I took it over for a minute. But I think Art's right on path with Laporta. So finish it up, Art.
Look, thank you, Alex, for picking up the ball when it was dropped by my internet provider. Thank you so much. Not going to mention their name. What I was about to say in my rant.
This is exactly the time to call him out, Art. Call him out.
Call,
yeah, let them know. Let the people know. Let the people know.
What?
Let them know.
The issue here is that people will draft with their hearts first. And people will draft with topical ideas thereafter, right? Strength of schedule, ADP. Did you have them on your roster last year? Who are the other receivers in the wide receiver room? Here's the one thing that people don't often look at, and that is if maybe there's a new offensive coordinator in town, and that new offensive coordinator in town in Detroit is Drew Petzing. Do you know where Drew Petzing was last 2 seasons? guys.
I love the cohesiveness. Tell me about it, Art.
Yeah.
Man, he was in Arizona. All right, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. You already covered this. Trey McBride. Let's do some synergy here. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, finish it up, Art. Finish
I love
it
it,
up.
gents. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. But yes, okay, if Sam Laporta can keep that consistency and he can see the end zone a few more times, I don't think that's asking too much, right? He's a tight end. It's likely he will see the end zone a good bit. It's not like he's a slot receiver who's the fourth or fifth receiver on a team. He is a reliable, consistent option for Jared Goff. And as Jared Goff ages, we know he looks for consistency. Sam Laporta is that guy. Drew Petzing is that offensive coordinator. I tell you what, I know this. I know that team is hungry to win the NFC North again. They don't want to fall off. Detroit fans are hungry for them to reclaim the North. This is that shot. This is that shot. And I hate to say that to a Packers fan and a Bears fan in Alex and Dave, but the truth is you guys have the most competitive division in the NFL, and damn, it is exciting.
It
I
is.
realize I'm dressed like a damn Lions fan today. What the hell's going on with what I'm wearing? I look like I root for the
You do
Lions.
look like a Lions fan.
Look. He's Dave
That's what I'm gonna
Campbell.
say.
He's Dave Campbell, the Dan Campbell, Dave Wright mix.
Yo, how everybody listening, how many pods can have a member get booted by their shitty internet company and then their pod partner just without sharing the notes, I do have to put that their pod partner just literally locks in, takes the exact take that they were gonna bring to you. That's what you get here at F4E. This is how we're rocking and rolling, guys.
Amazing.
No, great take, Art.
Everybody
nice
dialed
recovery
in.
there. All right,
Everybody dialed in.
Everybody's we're crushing it, guys. All right. My favorite
Bring us home, Alex. Bring us home.
my favorite player from the Dirty Dozen, I think it's very fitting, but that is our boy Brock Dirty Purdy. Being drafted at quarterback 13, ADP of 104. I mean, Brock Purdy was ranked quarterback 6 in points per game in 2025. He has a better passing room, or better receiver room with Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, my boy DeJon Stribling. My guys don't feel the same way. George Kittle's trying to come back from injury. Christian McCaffrey's going to see 100 targets as long as he stays healthy. Brock Purdy's going to get these guys the ball, and he's going to reap all the benefits from that. I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Getting potentially a quarterback 6 as a quarterback 13. We're rocking it. I'm rocking and rolling with Purdy this year, guys.
Who grabbed him as their second quarterback in our mock earlier? Who was that?
Was that you, Dave?
Anybody remember?
Yeah.
I think it was me. It was me. Oh, absolutely. And I stacked him with Jayden Daniels and had the best quarterback room in our draft, but we won't get into that right now. But listen, Alex, I couldn't agree with the take more, man. He's one of those guys that just season in, season out. I don't understand how you get that overlooked continuing to produce. When we talk about getting hung up on sexy names and overlooking production, there is probably no one that falls into that category more than Brock Purdy. Inside the top 10 in the last several years. And again, the guy just falls and he falls and he falls. And it's like, this is the kind of guy that as you're building, skill position player talent, you throw on your bench and you still are rolling with a QB1 every single week. And not even a QB1. We're talking not inside the top 10. We're talking the top half of the league QB production. And you've just stacked positional talent at this point. So there is no better player to build a team around than Brock Purdy, in my opinion, man. I love that take, and that's the way to land the plane.
No, thanks, Dave. And I think taking him in the 9th round, the team that you're able to build with and not necessarily reaching, but not targeting a Justin Herbert, not targeting a Trevor Lawrence, letting Dak Prescott slip by you. Because, I mean, in Sleeper's projections right now, those players I just stated are only projected to have less than 10 points more, or even some of those players are projected to have less points than Brock Purdy being drafted at quarterback 13. So hold off on quarterback in your redraft leagues, unless, of course, it's super flex or 2 quarterback. But there's 1 quarterback leagues. You can hold off and you can ride with Purdy. But I think we lost Art. He made it through all his takes. He did a great job. But no, this is a fun episode, Dave. A little pint size, 40 minutes. We aim for 30. We'll get better as we keep them going. You got anything else for the people, Dave?
No, man, I like this little quick hitter format. I think we gave them some knowledge today. These are the kind of guys that as we're heading into draft season here, you need to start thinking about. We encourage everybody to build your own personal rankings as you head into these drafts. And these are hopefully the things that help you move some guys around within those rankings that give you the advantage over the rest of your league mates, man.
No, perfect. Thank you for everybody listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and YouTube, and check us out on Spotify. Fantasy Football, the number 4. Everyone, please remember that fantasy football is for everyone. So for Dave, for Art, this is Alex. F4E out.